could.
Oh,
He was
you're
getting
just gonna
scared.
go anywhere? I love it. Hi, do you remember me? You're getting a little nicer. I remember you were a little protected. But
Well, you mean he's getting a little nicer?
Oh,
I've always
yeah,
been
you're
nice.
a bitch. No.
He had some liver problems, so he would nip at people because and he'd see this and then he'd see that really big. But we're good now, I think.
We need a special water bowl.
Oh,
for
he's got
Courage.
one. And
William.
you know what, too? You can get that water of mine that I already
Courage?
opened.
Well, that's good. Your liver problems are over. You stopped drinking.
He's got to get a.
Wait, I want to talk about
He's an acupuncturist now. So.
Oh, this is very good. Oh. Yes, please. This is for Karen, and this is for Courage.
There, and I'll
Be careful, though, when you sit on the couch, then it's going to spill. So.
Am I getting on the couch or am I?
No. Josh might go on the couch.
Josh might not.
I don't know. I think maybe we'll keep the
this is-
dog there.
Perfect. Courage. You stay there. We'll get our special interpretive
Does the
mic.
dog have a 3 minute? A tight 3 minute set?
He does. Actually, if you want to ask me, I'll tell you how he was in my one woman show.
Okay. So you know what we're doing? Did you read the explanation? You haven't been on this podcast.
I have not, and I did not read the explanation
So
because
just good, real quick, the first like half hour, we're gonna, and maybe 40 minutes, we'll probably 45 minutes, because we have a lot to do with you. We're gonna interview you, and then can you do a reading of us?
Of
and stuff?
course.
And we're really promoting the Halloween. And then, the last 15 minutes, we do a segment called Punch It Up, where we ask a comic to come on and do 3 minutes.
Oh.
And so we can give them feedback, maybe some tags or ideas, but also, if time willing, tarot card reading.
Awesome.
If you feel necessary. So we'll let you, right? It
For
happens to be-
sure.
Happens to be William today. Usually it's other.
And just by the way, thank you, and you've been doing an incredible job, or you have, whoever's promoting. I've already had people go, are you even at Flappers for Halloween? And
Mhm.
I have not even started promoting, other than on my site.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Yeah, we're trying
You're
some
on the
new
calendar.
little tricks. Yeah.
Good. Good.
By the way, for your clients or stuff, I was telling David, I just found a book, and it's called Fame 101, and it was by a publicist I heard on the radio, talking about branding yourself, like getting your brand.
You should
and
talk
how to-
about this on the
Oh,
podcast.
okay.
This is what, I'll intro us. Ed, we're ready when you are, and then we can talk about all that. Because
Okay.
that's, you'll hear what it's about.
Sure.
Behind the scenes.
Okay, everyone please silence your cell phones, and the music will be starting momentarily.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the FlappCast, Behind the Funny, where we find out what goes on behind the scenes at a comedy club. I'm Barbara Holliday,
I'm Joshua Snyder.
and we have an amazing guest today, already getting ready for the spooky month, Miss Karen Rontowski
Hello.
of the Supernatural Junkyard.
That's
She's
right.
going to be doing the whole Halloween weekend here with us at Flappers Burbank.
Where we do comedy and a little extra spooky.
Oh, what? What's the spooky
We do
stuff?
the tarot card, a little tarot card spooky.
Oh,
And it's you and Luan Ferguson, correct?
It is, yes. And we do so they get a full comedy show, and then they get a tarot reading to look into their future.
so everyone in the audience gets a tarot card reading?
No, we have people ask questions, but we only do like one question at a time. So we do cover a lot of people, and we move quickly, and we make sure it's funny too. But it's real tarot reading.
Ooh, exciting. Well, before we go too much further, I do have to introduce one additional guest that I failed to mention, Mr. Courage,
Courage is here.
your service dog, yes?
Yes, Courage is. He's a vest off today because it's too hot.
Oh.
But he's also a metaphysical dog. In fact, I met one of my best friends who's an animal communicator because she talks to him. And they actually still communicate all the time. In fact, the best story, when she first was reading for him, he was sick, and I called her because she can find out what's wrong with him in a second, where a vet will take thousands of dollars and not get it. So she said the first thing, she had never seen him before, she was on the phone, she said, what's the red thing that you pull over his head and put on his back? Which is his service vest. And she said, all I know is he keeps telling me that he has a job and he's very, very important and he's very good at his job and he's very brave. He's always talking about how brave he is.
Ooh,
I know, so
brave.
I was like, wow, she got the best. And then I go, why does he hate the dog in the front house? And she goes, oh, that dog doesn't have a job. He's not important like me. So my dog's a Republican. And But just the other day, I was at a show with him and he had a lot of energy, so I said to my friend, I handed him to him and I said, can you watch the dog for a second? And the next day, I get a text message from Pennsylvania, from the animal communicator who's not even there, who says, this just in, he no longer wants to be referred to as the dog. I know. I was like, wow.
Well, is it weird that we're talking about it even though he can hear us now? I mean,
Oh, he knows, yes.
Well, that's funny that you actually named him Courage, but that was before you actually knew he was going to be a brave service dog, right? So that's great. And I find it, I did know Courage a couple of years ago, and I was just telling you a moment ago that he was very nippy.
Well,
that time.
he has some trouble with his liver and with his eyes. So we got that fixed, though, because it was something that was really scaring him. And I try to keep him, like when I'm holding him, I don't let people reach in, because a little girl reached in and poked him in the eye.
Oh,
that,
little girl.
I know.
Such
So
eye pokers.
we had to kind of undo that trauma a little bit. So and
yeah,
give him
stay
that.
away from kids. That's my recommendation.
Yes, and flight attendants, they reach right in his bag, and I'm like, that's his little area. Don't reach in.
Don't touch his area. That's what I'm always saying.
That should be a good general rule anywhere. Don't touch their
Okay,
area.
so you are also a psychic, yes?
I say tarot reader just because I need my cards. I'm not good off the, not very good off.
And
the
we're
cuff.
going to get a little, are you going to read our cards today?
Absolutely.
And then, but you decided to go to a doggy psychic. I'm still fascinated by this. How did you find a doggy psychic? I mean, like, you just Googled it or what?
She's actually not only an animal communicator, she's also a comic. So another comic said, do you know Sonia King? And I was like, no. And they're like, she talks to animals. So now, in fact, if we could get her out here, I would love to get her out for Halloween, because we had a show called Paranormal Comics where I read the tarot and she reads the animals from the stage.
Ooh, now wait a minute. Aren't humans and animals pretty much the same thing? Or what does it mean?
When you're talking to her, they are.
And she only talks to animals.
That's right.
Wow.
Well, yeah, she sometimes too. If she can find people call her to find lost dogs, because she can see what the dog sees or what the cat sees. But sometimes if they get stuck, she'll call me, because the tarot cards can tell you north, south, east, west. They can, statue, window. I can get some things from it, but I know she should write a book, because she's amazing, and she talks about how the animals are really here to watch out us, and usually when an animal's sick, it's reflecting something from its owner. But she once called me because she had a pit bull that was at a Halloween party wearing pearls and a tiara that escaped. So I said, that should be the name of your book. Have you seen a pit bull wearing pearls and a tiara?
And did she find the pit bull?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like you seek out, criminals and stuff. Right?
Absolutely,
it's the
yes.
same kind of thing.
Yes. I don't know that the pit bull was a criminal, but he was okay. So, and I think he still had the pearls on, but the tiara was gone.
Oh,
Yes.
well, I'm sure it was worth a lot of money. He might have gotten a few bucks for it on the street. That's all I know.
Yeah, you had to make do.
Courage, you're being so respectable today. I love it.
Yeah, he's really good.
Do you ever read Courage's cards? Can you do that, or is that not possible?
I don't do that, but a friend that's the animal communicator, we talk all the time, and she says he pops in all the time, so we're always sort of having this three-way conversation. It's very strange. Like, I was on the phone with her, and we look across the street, and she can't see this, and there's another dog going to the bathroom on something, and all of a sudden she just starts yelling, "Stop it, that's mine, that's mine." And so
that was Courage?
That was Courage,
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Stop it.
I know. Look at
You're so good on podcasts, Courage. You're so quiet.
Do we know what sign Courage
Chime
is?
in if you want.
yes, Courage is actually a Sagittarius.
Okay.
I thought he was a Taurus, which would go against. I don't really like to date Tauruses or have them around, so it's very good that he's a Sagittarius.
He was communicating with his tongue just a
Yes.
moment ago.
He was like,
He seems interested in Liz. He
No,
is
he is interested in Liz, and
Yeah.
this is so weird because we were coming across the street and he started running towards her. So this is how I started. Liz thinks I'm a freak because we started across the street and all of a sudden she runs up and he starts sniffing her, and then she turns around and looks at me, and I think she's my friend Shayma, so I grab her and hug her. I'm like, "Oh my God, look who's here!" And she's like, "Hi."
Wow.
Courage, literally on edge there.
Yeah, he
Wanted
you see
your
his valet
attention,
feed.
Liz.
He once worked for the the Juilliard dance.
Wow,
He's
he
got the,
Oh, he's doing a second.
Yeah,
he's
he's
doing
in
a
second
perfect
position.
second position right now.
See, that's what I love about
Good job,
dogs. There's
Pete.
no, he's just making it totally clear. I want you right now. I want that leg.
Josh, you should take some advice from Courage.
exactly.
So, okay, that I don't think I have had a tarot card reading in a long time.
Awesome.
We sometimes bring you in to work, help us with our employee party, which is fun, and then I always am last because the guests are always getting your attention.
That's right, and I do it
So-
on the phone too, so you could always call me too.
So, are you going to do mine? What if it's bad? What if it's
It won't
bad?
be bad.
Okay, just pretend if it's bad that it's not. Just lie.
Okay,
No,
and I
okay.
might need a little more room here.
Okay.
And we can do, you can do a particular question that moves a little faster, or we can just do a general, but.
Do you have a
Ooh.
question, Josh?
Well, you go first, but I
Okay, so when you do this on Halloween, though, it's cool because you're on stage and doing comedy too, and then Lamont goes out and asks anyone if they have a question, and then you read the
Right.
cards on stage. Very similar to what you're doing right now, right?
Right,
Okay.
and usually I tell people the more specific the question, the more specific the answer.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Can I do it right now, or
Sure,
do
give me
I?
the question.
Okay, so how many more years will I have to work 16 hours a day?
Okay,
Is that specific enough?
that is a good question. Let's narrow it down this
Okay.
way. Let's
When
say,
will I get a nap?
in 5 years, will you be working the same amount in the club?
Oh.
Because you
in
may be
five-
doing something different.
Ah,
In 5
ooh,
years.
what would that be? Music, perhaps?
Management,
Ah,
producing a
okay.
sitcom.
Ah, television, being on camera. Will you be able to tell me all these things? just
I
in-
will.
Wow, okay.
I can tell you what's out in front of you, absolutely.
Aye, whoa. They always look scarier than they actually are.
I know, and the
right?
ones that are scary are usually not that scary. Actually, this is very interesting because, so asking about you not working as much, this card right here has to do with acting. That's weird that you said on camera. So that is absolutely not out of the question at all. There's going to be a point in the 5 years where you're going to have a choice, okay? And that is going to be your path, because this choice is going to be to take something big or to continue here, okay? So that's your, and it's actually going to change the way you're thinking about everything. You're going to be in the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is about 180 degrees, and I actually think you are going to take this. It's something that you've never done before, that you always wanted to, but you take a look at. This card right here is, this is probably either you or someone famous, but it must be someone of your clients that have picked up a sitcom, because this is acting, this is not comedy. There's very specific comedy and very specific acting. So this is running naked through the park, so that's coming up for you
Oh,
too.
wow, that sounds exciting. I was planning on doing that tonight.
There you
so
go.
that's
That's
perfect.
right there. Yes, because the what is happening is as you make that decision and this sort of comes forward, this is more of a comedy card. This is somebody else. So this is someone coming up as comedy. This is the unexpected. This is acting. This is fame, and then this is actually just resting. So
Sounds good.
and that's pretty quick. You know what, too? Time is the only thing that I'm hard with, because everybody goes through their karma differently. Like this keeps popping out to me, this decision, that's your decision, okay? So you'll know when it comes up. So there you go.
Running naked through the park, you mean?
Yes.
That part, that
That's
decision?
your decision,
Okay, I gotta
too.
make that decision.
Wow.
Ooh, thank you.
So this is option
Like
here,
it.
but this is because you are managing people still, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's what I think is coming up. So watch for somebody to grab at that.
Ooh.
We can ask if it will be successful too,
Oh,
or we can ask which client or whatever.
ooh, let's ask about a client.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
Would it be two, or would it be the duo, or the single? Or Dave Reinitz? Would it be my partner, Dave Reinitz?
Hold on.
You can tell if it will be Dave or not.
Yeah, I'll do 3 cards for each person, and I'll tell you what's going on with them.
Okay, excellent.
And pardon if I don't talk much when I shuffle, that's my only rule.
Oh, are these cards
She's shuffling,
you've
she's
had for a long time, and are they very personal to you, or does it matter which cards you use? I'm just curious.
There's different decks, and I need to use this deck. This is the one I understand, the Rider-Waite deck. But there are, other decks that are somewhat like this, but this is my favorite. It's been around a long, long time, and I've been studying it for 20 years, and it still fascinates me, and I still get more books, and the stories in it are amazing. This is David working really hard, and actually, I know he does the political stuff, but this is actually adding something to what he does. This is kind of called the apprentice card and the detail card, so it's about adding a skill to his stand-up. And then this is it really working out. In fact, it's kind of something that is making a name for himself. And at that point, his business is really going to pick up. So I'm going to put a possibility that it's him, because this is a very different thing. It's whatever he's starting new is good. This is about almost too much work. This is about work, like being overwhelmed by it. That's a great business card. So.
You mean it's good to be overwhelmed?
Yes.
But I love the star.
Yeah, that could not be a better, more explaining card. And this card right here, like I said, this is about whatever he's adding to what he's doing. It's a great idea. Great.
The relationship.
Keep doing.
Yes, because we were talking about the show and branding stuff. Branding yourself as having a, so people recognize you as a brand. That's him finding his brand.
Great.
Okay, client number 2.
Client number 2 would be Samuel J. Comroe, my young boy with Tourette's.
Is he still young?
Well,
to us.
let's see. What is young nowadays?
Was he 25
That's
or 26?
the question, yes. That would be under 30 is young, right? Though I didn't always think that.
No, and we're not, I'm not putting time on this, so we can look at time. Yes, well now Sammy's over the hump on something, so he's actually gotten credit on something where this is like, there's something that puts him in the next category. So he made it over the hill, which is what we all want. So that's either a TV appearance or something that set him forward. The World card is great. That means things are really moving good for him. The King of Swords means be sure that he is flexible, and I say that in the name, not in yoga. This is flexible and open, so that when you do things with him, the vision is not so narrow, because there's, in fact, like I want to say, but this is where, I try not to do this when I read the cards, but this is where my comedy mixes with this. I would want to say something to him like, take acting classes all the time, because that's my biggest regret. And this could come up out of nowhere, and comics think they don't understand the difference between acting and, so that's my example to say acting, but it's definitely something to, you know what I mean, to make him more ready for whatever comes out of the darkness.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, looks good.
All right, and there's one more.
I heard he has a good manager.
Oh, yeah, you heard, huh? Courage is doing a good job. You keep contributing over there now.
He's the
Courage.
strong silent type.
There's one more client, Mr. Drew Lynch.
Drew Lynch. Oh, I love him. Okay.
Yes. And we'll see what's happening with him, right? Do I need to ask another specific question, or you'll just
No,
tell me?
we're just doing a quick 3
Perfect.
card. It's the
Yeah.
route that they're on.
Perfect.
Oops.
Oh.
Does Drew have a steady girl?
Yes.
Because his is directing more towards relationship, and it actually working out well in his, this is almost marriage. This may be the girl. This is a wife. And it's funny because I asked career, there's an awful lot of love and partnership with this.
Yeah, it could be Sam.
Oh, is
not
Sam
his
getting
wife.
married?
No, Sam and Drew.
Oh, nice.
They're very close,
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
obviously.
But this is something, this is very good, but this is coupling with someone, partnering with someone. So that is his strength with him, to work in a partnership, for sure. And the Sun card, this is success alone, this is success together. So whatever's going on here works out good. So maybe that, if that is him and Sam working together as a pair, that's where he wants to go.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Miss Rontowski. Joshua, do you have some
I'm
questions?
scared. All right, maybe it's been my dream to be a successful comedian and writer, and I guess what I want to know, what do I need to do to get there? Is that a question? Is that a good question to ask, or should I shape it better?
It may not be, but let's ask it and see what comes up. But you're already a great writer, so
Oh, well, thank you.
now you just have to make sure you know what your definition of success is.
Mhm.
That's always the hard part, isn't it?
And I always try, it's funny because I don't want it to be like real general, like, hey, work hard and believe in yourself. You know what I mean? So I try to see if there's anything more in the cards for you. All right. Oh, this is good. Okay. So let me tell you, you're getting the bigger layout.
Ooh, a big layout.
Right.
Got the big layout.
Okay. And he's about to change something. Here's your advice. Okay. Super. When you say writer, there's two things that come up. The thing about this, this is about the past. These two cards are always about the past. And this is about watching the competition, okay? Don't worry about the competition. Don't watch it because that, you can watch it enough, but then it's time to stop. This is taking a really, the Queen of Swords is about taking a no BS look at this, like really giving it everything. And there's something about this that you view it as being alone and you kind of view it as a trap. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know what I mean? It's like this vision of, Stephen King's writers are always in the mountains with no one in the typewriter, and it's that. That seems like it's made an impression on you. You're going to go back and forth. This is the card of temporary, back and forth. So your career is going both ways, and I would not limit it to one or bring either forward because it's almost like there's a point where you take writing as the only thing, and I'm going to get a writer's job and this, that, and that just leads to disappointment because you're always going to be doing both. So, and even when you, whatever this is, it seems like maybe it's a particular job or something that you have set your goals on. The disappointment from it, you leave it. There's a disappointment from it. But this card, I love this card because it means all is not lost. And the disappointment is to show you that you're not just a writer, that you're supposed to be doing this other stuff up here too. So, and it's almost like when that goes sour, something else is presented right away. Like you're like, oh my God, if I had been in that job, I wouldn't have gotten this one. So, that's in there. So, there you go. Don't limit yourself.
Okay. Don't limit myself.
That actually was a very good reading.
Yeah,
Josh
it
was
was.
very much sort of in that zone of being alone and
Yes.
feeling alone. And his roommate is here laughing and listening.
Oh, that's good.
So basically,
I like that she
okay.
said, that was actually good. Like the other one's really sucked. But that was actually good.
Well, I mean, it's fun to watch it on the other side because I'm like, wow, you described him pretty well. That was interesting.
Yeah, well, it's funny too. People, for some reason, are more fascinated when you can predict the past. You know what I mean? Like when you can tell them, oh, this just happened, and they're like, yes, it did. And so then they kind of give you more credibility. But it's always, a reading is always like, it's about a month, and then I get an email from someone, and they say, oh my God, you were right, my husband was fired from his job, or whatever, you know what I mean? And, but it's, I had a woman once, she said, I kept saying, there's interns working for you, there's interns, and she said, we haven't had interns in 25 years, and then the next day she went to work, and they announced an intern program. So it's always good to hear from people later to go, oh yeah, that happened. So.
I had my tea leaves read once in college.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never had that.
That was, you drink the tea and there's a little bit in the bottom, the leaves, and then you swirl them around.
Wow.
And it was right when I was like graduating college, so I was very interested in hearing what was going to
That
happen.
actually reminds me of something. I don't know if I'm being too presumptuous by this, but when I was in high school, somebody, I don't know if you know the lines on the hand.
Oh, I don't know much about the pond, no.
Okay. Because somebody said I had a short lifeline. I was just curious. I wanted a second opinion.
Let me look.
Well, you know what?
If you keep this up.
That's really weird because there's one hand is always changing and the other one's permanent. That's all I know about that. But I have friends because I am so interested in ghost hunting and stuff. Like I always tell my friends, if I die tomorrow, it's totally okay. Like it's really okay. Like I'm ready to see the whole thing. And there's an old Greek astrology where apparently there's a cycle of years where you could die, and everyone's is different. It takes a long time to figure it out. But my friend has did you hear scary music?
I did. I heard scary music.
But-
It's a ghost. The ghost is here.
It's just for comedians. It's fine.
I hear.
But my friend is on the 15-year plan. Every 15 years, there's a possibility that he might die.
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, oh, please tell me I'm the 1 year. That would be awesome every year. It would be so exciting.
I feel like I'm on a 5-minute plan.
I know. I'm on the any moment plan. How do you find this out?
You know what?
Is there a family and friends?
When I get, I know. When I get, he said it takes a long time. You have to go through all this astrology, which is science, which is why I try not to get too close to it. But but he said it takes a long time. And when I get depressed, I always email him and I'm like, so when is it? Is it when am I gonna die? When is it coming? So I don't know.
That's a great question. Would you really want to know?
I would.
If you knew when you were going to die, would you really want to know this?
Think how financially ready you could be to die just at zero.
And you would definitely like do your bucket list too, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's, it's sad, but I do have a very close friend actually who's dying of cancer right now. And it's interesting though, he performed a lot, right before he got really sick. And I know that he was putting everything into it. And I think that if I knew that too, I would probably just go for it, and you lose the fear of all the things you've always wanted to do.
If I had that, I would immediately start smoking.
Something, because you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would eat sugar. That's what I would.
Did anyone seen Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
we should
it's
smoke
that concept. Yeah. It's like the guy's dying of lung cancer, and
what does
he's
he
like,
care? Yeah.
Screw it, man.
Yeah.
That guy's an asshole. I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Right?
And we all cheer him.
And we love it. We think he's like the hero. It's very interesting phenomenon.
That's true. That's true.
Josh has another question, right?
Ooh, can I ask another question?
Sure. It's your podcast.
Well, I'm just the co-host.
What is the future of the podcast?
What's my other question going to be? It should be something personal, but I want a more career question. I just need to figure out what it is.
That's all right.
Okay, you mentioned, okay. Based on the last one, you're saying that this other thing, the performing maybe the performing is more what I really want. So, I'm similar to her question. In 5 years from now, where am I going to be as a performer? Is that too vague?
Should we put it this way? How about, will you be performing full-time, nothing else? And we'll kind of look at how it's unfolding.
Great. Perfect.
All right, here we go.
Courage, what do you think of this one?
I'm terrified she's going to pull a card that just says Chapter 11 on it.
Yeah. Well, she hid that one from me.
And just so you know, you can be very successful and still be Chapter 11.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know.
Many successful people have filed for Chapter 11. I can tell you that.
All right, now,
Ooh.
this is 5 years. You still have this alone card.
In bondage. Alone in bondage with lots of swords around.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of stuff coming on. And here's the thing. You've also had this card twice. And I want to tell you something. I don't even know how to read this, but this is what popped in my head. This is the card of the thief, of things being stolen from you.
Oh, shit.
Yes, so watch out for that.
Virginity.
This is very you, though. This layout is very you, because I'm going to tell you something. How old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay, so this alone thing, you'll get rid of that. That's going to go, okay? There's organization and management here. That's what I'm going to tell you. This is big organization that wants you to conform to something, and this is management. Don't conform too much to what they tell you, okay?
Okay.
This feels like, I'm just going to say this out, watch identity theft. That popped into my head. I don't know why, but it felt like a big headache when I saw it.
Because you have such an identity, people really want to steal it.
Identity theft. Okay, I'll watch out.
No, you're going to make him worry so much.
No, it's good. I like to vary my worrying. It's good to diversify.
Exactly. I don't know. I've never had that pop in my head that way, but it just did. So just be careful on that. That's that.
What's your social security number?
I know. So this is management here, okay? And then this is doing very well, very, very well. The star card would almost mean like TV appearances and stuff like that. Not quite the fame card, but exactly the route that you want to go. Now, at 5 years, you're going to take a turn, okay? This is about taking a turn, and I'll tell you what's coming. So this is about writing and having success, and this is then about figuring out where you fit in, where you measure up. So at that point, when your career turns, you may do what a lot of us do, which is you start to think, what do I really want to say? Okay, now you may be like me and go, you know what? I don't want to say anything. I want no one to think in my show. I just want to be like, but that is about, even with all this success, you're still examining how you want to change what you're putting on stage. And that, although it looks like a scary card, is the card that is going to keep you working all your life.
It's a woman covered in a cloak walking out in the middle of the snow with a cripple on crutches.
Well, the thing too about it is there are two people that are very sick in the snow and they're on crutches and stuff.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But what they're not looking at, stained glass means you're not seeing it clearly. So your full view of what you want to do is not being seen clearly yet. But also these people are walking right past the church where help would be. So help is still around you, but this is really about spiritually changing what your message is going to be on stage. And don't forget, society is going to be changing so much by that time that, you know what I mean? Not that what you're doing now won't still be there, but you'll sort of take a broader view, and that may be when you hone your brand, like it's what we're talking about.
I would recommend getting some snowshoes, just in case, you know.
Yes, exactly. And a better blanket.
Right. Something definitely a little warmer, for sure.
That's after global warming when California's covered in snow, and you're on your way to Flappers right now.
Wow, very exciting.
But this is actually interesting layout because people always think when I start getting TV and this, that I'll be all happy, and it's like, no, you always have that inner change and wanting to do something different and wanting to do more. So that really is, as much as it looks negative, it's very good.
You know, knowing we talk to a lot of successful comics here at Flappers, I mean, really big famous people, and, you know, they're on the same path. We're all just humans, and we have the same struggles and, you know, the same family issues and relationships, and
Yep.
in a way, the problems are even worse in a way, you know, when you get that fame. Ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I'm not into the fame.
No, I think you want your little cult following that lets you work wherever you know what
Yes.
I
You
mean?
need fans.
Yes.
You need fans.
A nice show buried in the back of the cable where those people will pay to go see your comedy. That's
Yes.
what
No, like one of my heroes is Woody Allen. You know, he makes a little movie every year, and every has a fan base, and he can do whatever he wants. So
Right.
But the idea of, and when I was Mel Brooks, on the other hand, who I also love, but he made Blazing Saddles, which was the big, huge movie, and he felt he had to keep every movie had to be bigger and bigger and bigger, and he kind of burned out in the movies.
Yep.
And he felt the pressure. I have to keep doing Blazing Saddles instead of doing more of what he wanted to do.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's-
I think the pressure gets worse when we think we're just gonna go, it's all good now. And
Oh
it gets
yeah, if I
worse.
just make money, everything will be fine. If I just do this,
Right.
everything will be fine. But I think that what we need are those goals to reach for. That's what kind of keeps us striving, I think.
The
right?
most incredible book is called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And he talks about how if you're a writer, you write. And he got his big break in Hollywood. He was supposed to do some sequel to King Kong. And he got all excited. And they had the premiere and it bombed. It was the worst ever. And so his writer friend just looked at him and said, so why aren't you sitting down writing today? Because no matter what your success or failure is, you should just be doing it every single day. And that's just how it goes. Just keep doing it. It's not about success or failure. I think that's right.
So you've actually tailored your stand-up over the last couple of years to involve more of your supernatural coolness, right?
Yeah, I love all the ghost hunt. I have all kinds of ghost hunting. I talk about, here's my new joke. I say ghosts are just energy. They used to be able to turn TVs on and off all the time, but now they just stand around the 3 remotes going, I don't know which one it is. And, yes, I'm always trying to write ghost stories or, and try and keep it enough so that it's not too dark for regular folks, you know what I mean? But it always has a little bit of a dark slant. There's a lot of dead people in my act. It's very odd. I don't know why. I guess and it means nothing to me. And then sometimes we'll be doing a show for like a cancer benefit, and then my brain will go, oh, maybe you should skip these. And then I go, no. And then they laugh, and it's like, okay, it's just too late. You know what I mean?
Okay, here's a dig. Here's one for Halloween. So when you're performing, do you see ghosts in the audience?
You know what? I don't even see the audience because my eyes are that bad.
Do you feel them?
Sometimes I do, but usually my head is so into what's going on.
Or is it just the audience is so dead? No.
Sometimes, yes.
No, but they must be around you, yes? You
Oh,
can
ghosts,
sense
yeah.
them.
I've had some trouble in my house where I've had to have things removed that were, but you try and do, it's sort of like a whole ghost hunting thing where you try and do protection and stuff like that. But I can only do 3 tarot readings a day because then my brain gets really loopy. Like, you know how, like, I'm like, I should write a book called How I Became My Act. because my act is about this ditzy woman, and I swear to God, not only does that happen, but like I had all my friends over for my 50th birthday, and I said, we had a numerologist, and I said, okay, so I was born 8/17/65, what can you tell me? And she goes, I can tell you, you're gonna celebrate this birthday again next year, because you're not 50, you're 49. Like, seriously, I totally did not know how old I was. And I had to call my sister and ask her how old she was. And she goes, 52. And I go, if you're 3 years older than me and I said I was celebrating my 50th birthday, didn't you think that was odd? And she goes, yeah. But I thought, that's your business. But that's literally like how loopy I was like, oh my God.
And you're saying, I'm having my 50th. It's all on your announcements, your invites and everything.
And yet, my time travel, my time travel has worked. My experiments have worked, obviously, and I've moved back a year. So.
Wow. So Karen is going to be here, as we were saying, on Halloween. And we do this podcast every week, and we love to promote our headliners. And of course, you're going to be here for Halloween, so we're way in advance, because if you don't have kids, or even if you do have kids, take your kids trick-or-treating, and then get the babysitter, put them in bed, and come to Flappers and enjoy the rest of the evening, because we're doing several shows. And Halloween's on a Friday night this year.
I know, that's gonna be, are you doing a costume contest or anything?
Yes, if people dress in costume, they get in free. We could have a contest and give away some tickets to Flappers. Let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds like a fun idea.
Absolutely.
And then in the Yoo-Hoo room, we're actually doing Dead Comics Night, which is where comedians dress as their favorite dead comic. And recreate material from
that's so fun.
Yes, we've done it in the past, and Titus did it.
Sadly enough, there's 2 added to the list.
I know. Yeah, 2, well, it's been a strange year for that.
Yes,
I know a lot of comedians.
And it always goes in 3s, but I thought Robin, Joan, and John Panette.
Ooh.
So we could be done.
Right, hopefully.
Could be, unless we start again and it's got to be 3 more.
Right.
Can't stop.
So how can people find you on the web and stuff too?
They can find me at KarenRontowski.com, and I believe Supernatural Junkyard is also pointed at the same site, so that's where I am. And they can get readings there, and they can watch the comedy, and they can watch the show.
Can people hire you for readings
Yes.
anytime too? They can go and say, hey, come to my...
So I do readings, and I'm also a Reiki Master, because I believe a secure financial retirement plan is magic. But yes, they can do all those things. If they live in LA, they can do Reiki at my house, and stalkers, I'll give you my address right away.
And Courage will be there too.
Courage will be there,
to
ready to protect
encourage
us.
everyone.
Yes, with his enthusiasm.
So on our podcast every week too, we like to do the segment we call Punch It Up.
Okay.
Which is where we invite a comedian on to do 3 minutes for us, and then we give them some tags, some feedback, and maybe you could do their tarot card reading.
Super,
What do you
let's
think?
do it, absolutely.
So Joshua, who do we have today?
We have William Nickerson, ladies and gentlemen.
All the way from Burbank, California, William Nickerson. Woohoo!
This is almost fortuitous that I'm on this podcast with Karen. I know Karen. I love Karen. But I absolutely do not believe in anything that she says.
You and my parents.
Right. I was just raised to be very logical, so I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that because I know how the eye works. And like you can't see.
The third eye?
No, just the 2.
Okay.
Like you can't see pink. It's not a light in the light spectrum, so that your brain actually makes up that color. And I've taken many of drugs and seen lots of things that I know aren't real, so I just kind of chalk it up to that. But I did want to talk to, this will be fun, because I do have an experiment, because my mom doesn't believe in ghosts either, and she's terminal right now, so we devised this experiment to either prove or disprove ghosts. So what she did was she wrote a phrase that doesn't make sense in an envelope and sealed it and gave it to me. So when she dies, she's going to come haunt me, if there's ghosts, and say the phrase, and then I'll open up the envelope, and if it matches, then at least that'll be some kind of evidence to the contrary. Because I am open-minded. I've never seen a ghost, so in my head they can't exist. And I lived with a roommate who saw them constantly. Like they'd always freak her out. She'd be like, "Oh, there's this light orb in my room. Come see it." And I'd go in there. There's no light orb, and she's like, "Oh, you can't see them because you don't believe in them, so they don't bother you. And I was like, well, they're freaking you out. Stop believing in it. You know what I'm saying? Why are you giving them all the power then, I guess? It's ridiculous. But yeah, so my mom has brain cancer. Well, not even brain cancer. She has lung cancer that moved to her brain, which is weird to me because normally I'm not a very racist guy, but I think, you should stay in your area. And that kind of, segregation with the cancer, I guess. Only the cancer. But then, it kind of makes me seem like, oh, why you gotta pick on the black lung? And the worst part about it is she lives in Tennessee, so I get a call from a neurologist with a deep Southern accent, and that just does not instill confidence in me. When you get a call from a doctor going, yeah, your mom, she has a tumor in her left lobe, and we got to go in there and try and it's like, could you just email me? Because all I can hear is, you got a pretty mouth. That's all I hear right now. And it's not instilling confidence in your cutting my mom's brain abilities. So that's the 3 minutes I devised for.
All right, yeah. Bring that microphone and come on over and sit next to Courage.
I'll sit on the stool so
all right.
Spill his water.
Hey, William, great. I love the Southern thing. That's
Yes.
funny. That's funny. Do you want to start, Karen? And do you have some
I only
thoughts?
had one tag, and then if you want, I can tell you why your mom's not going to be able to come back and give you that message.
Oh, perfect.
Or not for a few years. I thought it would be funny if you said, and then the guy sent me an email, and the first thing he said was, hey, you with the pretty mouth.
I in the same section, I was like, I think you should do when he goes, you got something in the left lobe. What did you say? The left is
The
something.
tumor in her
Yeah,
left
yeehaw! You should just add a yeehaw.
Right.
Dum 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 dum. I love that section though. That's really funny. I think you could even go further with it. Like,
Yeah.
and then now I'm off to the racetrack. Or something. I don't know. Give the guy because it is idiotic. But also, I'm surprised you didn't talk about your mom smoking. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I do have a longer bit with it. 'Cause she does. She's still
So she's
Still smoking?
Yeah, well, absolutely. She had an argument with the doctor on why she couldn't smoke anymore if she already has lung cancer in her brain. And she only has like a month or so left. What's it gonna do? And so she actually won the argument, so they give her like 10 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
So she can go out and smoke. Yeah.
With all the other patients who are all on,
Right.
everybody's in there.
They don't even take them outside in Tennessee?
No, they go out to a little courtyard
Oh, okay.
with their little
I was
ankle
thinking,
bracelets. It's a lot like a prison, because all they do is they go to the courtyard and smoke and talk about how to escape.
And they're probably also trading up things for cigarettes.
Right.
I'm sure, just to get
Right.
more. Yeah,
Ben Gay,
absolutely.
your night medicine, whatever.
You can have like Jello for a couple of puffs.
I did have one other quick little thing on the nightlight thing about the ghost. That was funny, but I thought maybe describe the nightlight. So that's not a light orb. That's like a Minnie Mouse nightlight,
Right.
or something like that. Like give it a more
Right.
detail there. But I'm curious to why Kevin's mom, why won't that work?
When we always assume that people cross over and then it's all, hey, there's a snap and I'll see you in 2 days.
Right,
blah,
right.
blah, blah. There's actually a whole process that we know, but most of them are not. She may be able to come back and give you a little bit of a message, but it absolutely won't be right away. It's almost, oddly enough, it's like that movie Ghost.
Well, I didn't expect it the day after. I'll keep the envelope for at least 90 days. Isn't that the... No, I'm just kidding.
He loses in some boxes when he's moving. But also the thing about the seeing it with your eye, the reason that cats can see, there's actually a camera called an all-spec camera that covers all the spectrums of the eye that we can't see, and it actually is sort of shaped like a cat's eye because our eye goes like this, their eye goes like this, so that's why they do see ghosts. So when you really look into the technology, it's rare, but you can really find some good evidence.
Is it only a cats or dogs too?
Dogs don't have the same eye. It's the way the cat eye is shaped. That's why they can see more.
Don't do this in front of him. Don't do.
Oh,
He
he's
doesn't need
okay.
it.
The
Friends
dog.
Wait, now you got to do William's reading. I'm dying for the reading.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Can you?
Sure.
You?
What would you like to do? Would you like to do your career or money or love or?
Well, let's just do the one I believe in, and that would be Will I still be working at Flappers in 10 years?
Oh,
10 years?
50 years? 70 years?
we didn't tell you that William does work here. He's the manager.
I know William.
He
Yes.
runs the place, just for our listeners. If you haven't been in yet, get your butt in and meet William. He's here as much as I am, if not more.
Almost.
More.
I made it
We have
5 years.
William and I have our own little competition.
Indeed.
about
Who can
works
work the
longest.
longest? Barb always beats me.
No.
I don't know, William.
Ooh.
Yeah, things are looking actually really, this is actually a new job, but I want to say something down here. I don't know that you're fired or you're moving. You know what I mean? Like, not that you're fired. I don't mean that you're fired. But I mean, this
What's
is
she
a
trying to
new
tell me,
job
Barb?
with a lot of money, so I don't know if they're expanding.
Could it be here?
This is real estate. So this is a,
You could own a house?
he could own a
Well,
house.
the most realistic is that you just open a Flappers somewhere else. 'cause
That's
that'd
what
be
kind of
really
what
the
it's
only
looking like.
reason I move.
Oh.
Which actually that could be, because there's some sort of change and move going on here. This is about moving to a different place. And this is about, there's also something about, you are the manager here and that is your job, but in 5 years or so, being bonded to this, you will want to fly a little bit off. Do you know what I mean? And do his own thing. Because this is about losing the bondage of being stuck here. So at some point, not that you're stuck, but you know what I mean? You may want to go out and do other things, because that's in here, right here. The King of Swords is where you want to step back and do more things, 2 or more things at once. And they're okay with it. It's okay here, it's okay here. And it's actually really going to be good for you. It's going to be like a very, as much as the road is horrible, it can be very fun, and you know, you can pick where you want to go and come back here. So that is working out good here, although this is Barb, and she's a little bit sad
Oh,
because she wants you here all the time.
oh, poor Barb.
The queen.
But this is about real estate and a new job. So together, so I would say maybe they are opening another Flappers, because Barb wants to work 30 hours a week.
Right. She
30 hours
More,
a week?
30
That sounds
weeks
good.
more.
I'm like, that's new.
I
That's
know.
new.
Added
Well,
on.
if that's in effect, think Hawaii or Amsterdam,
Okay,
somewhere.
Right.
where do you want to go, William?
Just don't open it in the
That's
south. That's all I ask. Just please don't open it in the south.
Can we
All
wait?
ask.
Can we ask that? Can you do another shuffle and figure out
Where?
where?
Where it will be?
Where is hard, unless you give me a location and say, would it be here?
Would it not be the south?
No, would it
Would it be Culver City? Right?
Would it be Hawaii?
Anywhere but the
Hawaii.
south.
Would it be Hawaii?
I would do
Oh,
Alaska.
wouldn't that be great?
Well, no, that's still the south, technically, even though it's not.
All right, we get to pick one place. Which one would you pick, William?
Well, let's be realistic. Where realistically? Because I know you were thinking the west
I'm
side.
not going to lead anything other than would it be Hawaii?
If it's Hawaii, I'm taking your job.
Would it be Culver City? Would it be Costa Rica?
Would it be Europe?
Europe? Okay.
I'd go to Europe.
Okay. Would it be
Europe would
Europe?
be cool.
Let me ask you about Europe.
Le Flapper.
Les Flappers,
Le Flapper. Or if it was Spain, it would be El Flapero. I don't know.
You know what? Europe is not awful, but there's way more complications than even, this is about real confusion and complications and,
So no Europe.
right, Europe would be tough.
All right,
Tough.
boom.
Tough.
West Africa.
I think I see more complications than guns. Complications than guns.
Comedy's big in Somalia.
Yeah. You have another location.
Culver City.
Hawaii and Culver City. Oh, they're often confused. Let's look at Culver City. That feels closer to me.
It wouldn't really be much of a move, would it?
Yes, it
Burbank.
would. You don't
Yes,
want to make
it's a
that drive
whole-
every day. It would be a move.
Oh, no, I'd totally move to the beach if it was in Culver City.
That actually could happen, but this is all about delay. So whenever you're thinking that, push it back. Push it back. Okay?
No,
This
Culver
is a slow move towards it, getting what you want, very slow, step, step, step. This is about unforeseen things that you have to look at before you even, are you leaving? The dog is
Oh,
leaving.
courage is over it. Courage is done.
So this is about, you're not taking the look at it, you know what I mean? Like, you know what the problem is, but you don't need to look at it right now, because you need to get everything under control. And then this is just about delay and diplomacy, and then it could happen.
You know, it'd be
Culver
cool.
City!
It'd be like 50, 75 years, but like Mars.
I
Mars would be a cool place
I
for
was like
flappers.
Beverly Hills. I was like, Beverly Hills? No, we want Culver City.
All right. Well,
All right,
William
thank you.
Nickerson, thank you for
Very funny,
joining us.
very funny.
You want to walk Courage? We're almost done, Courage. Almost done. He looks so excited to see you, William. He enjoyed your act.
He did.
William watches my beagles when Dave and I leave town. Yes, he's a good dog watcher. I'm really fascinated with the doggy psychic too. I need to get her number. And
Oh, yes,
we're
absolutely.
very in tune with our beagles. So
You
I
would be amazed how attuned they are with you.
Oh, I know. I definitely feel it. We call it
Absolutely.
1010. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's just a friend of ours
Funny.
used to be very tight with his dog, and he used to say that you get to this point with your animals where you have, he called it 1010, which is just like, you know,
Telepathy.
you just know. You just kind of get
That's
each other.
telepathy.
Yeah.
You should actually work on it, because that's true. Because sometimes I get what he's thinking,
Uh-huh.
but all you have to do is ask the question real fast and see the first thing that pops in your head. And I bet you'll get it.
Besides a T-bone. No. Wow. Well, what?
I just did that. I just said, "Do you
Yeah.
hate me?" And the first thing that popped in my head was yes.
Yeah, Josh isn't really a big animal fan.
No, I asked the dog, "Do you
Oh,
hate me?" And he,
right.
yes, I do.
See,
Yes.
another thing to worry about, Josh. That's the way you are. But if you had an animal, you would not be alone. You wouldn't have to worry about that aloneness and all
It's a
that.
shame. I'm allergic to everything.
Oh, the
The problem.
unconditional love, though. You can't imagine. He will teach you to love.
Oh, yes. He,
Why do you
she
assume it's
will.
a he?
Would you like a she?
It's a good question.
All right. How about a cat? No.
I would prefer a cat to a dog, but I'm so allergic to them. You know, it lowers my resistance.
We should
to
have asked
Ebola.
whether you'd have a pet or not.
Spider monkey? No.
Sloth? Well, what an interesting, spooky, scary day we have with Karen Rontowski and our tarot cards. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
doing that.
having
It was
me.
very exciting. And if you're listening and you want to come on Halloween, I would highly recommend it. There'll be 4 shows over the weekend, Friday and Saturday, 8 and 10 o'clock in Burbank, and also with Lamont Ferguson, who is an amazing comedian and great
A headliner
cohort.
on his own. So
Oh,
I'm lucky
gosh.
he comes and does it with
Two
me.
headliners on a spooky weekend. And forget those haunted houses. This is way more fun.
I'll give
And
you something to
spooky.
be afraid of. The future.
Yeah! And don't forget, what is your Twitter, Karen? Are you on
At
Twitter?
Rontowski. Yes, I love Twitter followers. At Rontowski. All I put up are jokes.
At Rontowski, and your website is?
KarenRontowski.com.
Perfect. And who do we have in Claremont this weekend,
In
Josh?
Claremont this weekend, we have the incomparable Lori Kilmartin.
Oh, from Conan, yes.
And in Burbank this weekend, we have Owen Benjamin from Sullivan and Son and Comedy Central. I think he just came out with a new Comedy Central special as well.
Yeah, and he filmed his intro for his Comedy Central special in our green room.
Nice.
So if you see that, you'll actually be seeing the green room, which is pretty cool.
And we also have a very, very big celebrity guest who's coming.
Oh, that's right. We're not even allowed to announce it yet, but
First Sunday and Monday in October. I think is it the 5th and the 6th or the 6th and the 7th?
it's the Sunday and Monday, the 5th and 6th. And for our listeners, if you do go to our website, you can actually buy tickets. And I would recommend it. You will not be disappointed. It will sell out, and there
Is
will
it
be
Karen
6
Rontowski?
shows. No, but it might contain one of the letters that are in your name. Like the first letter, perhaps.
All right, now we're good.
That's enough. That's enough.
That's enough.
Okay,
Stop
okay.
right there. Stop
All
right
right,
there.
everybody. Thanks again for listening to another exciting episode of the FlappCast. We're out.
You're great at this.
Oh, stop.
No, I'm not kidding. You know how many of these I do? And I do all of the paranormal ones? Oh, it's everywhere. You have to do something about entertaining kids. Sometimes I'm just doing a model for like an hour. The overture. But you did great.
Oh, thank you,
Thanks, you
thank
guys.
you. Josh and I, we usually are a little more silly, but it was kind of spooky.
Well, it's,
you know?
yeah, it's a strange combination where you know what I mean? There's
Karen, you're good at cards.
Oh, thanks.
Can I just say that?